Abyss of Darkness 2 is the quintessential top 1 just for the sake of being top 1 level, and I want to talk about why. So today, I'll be teaming up with fellow YouTuber Wavix to discuss the level, why we don't like it, and how it can be improved. Let's begin.
She's in love with the concept.
In terms of concept, Abyss of Darkness 2 is pretty much just Abyss of Darkness. It really falls short on presenting any other purpose for its existence other than just to be top 1, considering it is quite literally basically just an extension to Abyss of Darkness. It uses the same song, the decoration seems to be pretty much the same thing, and the gameplay is very much in the same style. However, this level also lacks the history that Abyss of Darkness does, if you can say Abyss of Darkness has history, and it's also shorter in terms of how much gameplay is actually in the level due to the fact that the song ends before it can hit the 2-minute mark, so if this is going to be top 1, it's going to be a lot harder, and most likely even less enjoyable than the original Abyss of Darkness. I mean, at this point, it's literally just Abyss of Darkness V2, which is something I would expect to see on Tosh Deluxe's channel and not an actual upcoming top 1. I think to improve this, the level could have a more coherent theme that tries to keep consistency between different parts of the level, because in concept, this level could actually turn into just basically Abyss of Darkness if it was better. Sort of redoing the same concept, but actually trying to make it competently and try to accomplish something other than just to be top 1. Of course, I don't mean that we should just automatically switch to red and black and just make it hell theme, but there are some directions that the title Abyss of Darkness could go other than just generic glow decoration. We get so many upcoming extreme demons that are just built to be upcoming top 1s so that the creators can have some cool kid points for having a top 1, and that's literally it, making these levels extremely forgettable, especially once they're ousted from the top 1 spot inevitably, considering that there's a new top 1, every 3 months at this point. My hope for this level is that it doesn't force itself to be top 1, considering that most likely it is going to end up being very, very unenjoyable if it is forced to be top 1. There will most likely be even more levels that are verified or considered harder than Abyss of Darkness in the next coming months. So by the time this level is finished, it will probably have to go up against something like Eternal Night. I think this level could instead just go for the idea of having it be a more fun version of Abyss of Darkness with some better decoration and theming. It doesn't necessarily have to be harder than Abyss of Darkness 1, because if it's not trying to be harder than Abyss of Darkness 1 and it succeeds in its new goal, honestly, that's fine. But as it is right now, the level pretty much just symbolizes every upcoming top 1 that is literally just made to be top 1.
Overall, I'd say that the gameplay is slightly better than it was in the original. AOD1's layout was sort of haphazardly thrown together with no rhyme or reason to it. The only objective was for it to be a top 1, and they couldn't even get that right. However, the sequel has lots of good sync and good transitions between parts. The problem, though, is that it's quite lacking in terms of flow, and a lot of the parts seem clustered. Many sections, like the one I'm showing now, seem pretty careless and like Nero is just throwing in difficulty, undermining anything that could have been good about the level. It also borrows a lot of gimmicks from its predecessor. This is hardly surprising, as the sequel to a generic top 1 made exclusively to be a top 1 doesn't exactly seem like a passion project.
In terms of decoration, there is really no consistent theme in this level or in Abyss of Darkness 1 for that matter. The title of the level, Abyss of Darkness, and the end screen sort of hint at a better concept of the level revolving around death, or just sort of a realm where you're constantly in some sort of trial. However, the actual decoration in the level doesn't really reflect this, and if Abyss of Darkness is anything to go off of, it probably will end up just being the exact same thing but slightly more polished. There's no color scheme consistency, most parts in the level aren't even that dark, and it's very forgettable because it doesn't really do anything special or add to the level in any way, it's just there so that the level can get rated, but even then, Abyss of Darkness was only rated about a month after its verification, purely because of community pressure. With the title Abyss of Darkness and the end screen sort of resembling some sort of abyss, the decoration could be themed more around actually being in some sort of abyss that is, dark or something, not generic glow that switches color every 15 seconds. That being said, if nothing has really changed about the level and it is even finished in the first place, we'll most likely just get a little bit more polished version of Abyss of Darkness. I really hope that this level doesn't necessarily force itself to be top 1, although given the fact that XN is the host and every project he has to be top 1 now, probably will, and then probably fail because it's shorter than Abyss of Darkness, so I don't really see how it could really force itself to be top 1 without making it completely unenjoyable. Or maybe this level will just die and XN will focus on Wall Room.
So Abyss of Darkness 2 has a lot of problems, but how can it be improved upon? I'm now going to offer a few suggestions, besides throwing it in the trash, that I believe could be used by the creators to make this a more worthy top 1. First of all, it needs to have a style set in place besides bland Extreme Demon Mega Collab. Even if you were to be completely unoriginal and build the death theme like every other top one, it would still give the level some sort of identity. The level in question uses ShadowbeatzInc Dubstep remix of L's theme from Death Note. So building on what I just said, why not include assets from or theme the level after Death Note? These are just a couple of ideas that come to mind. Use your imagination a little, and your level might not be quite so forgettable this time. Like I said before, the gameplay is decent but has lots of flaws. You might want to scrap the clusterfuck parts and the parts with reused gameplay gimmicks and just rebuild them from scratch. Additionally, extra care should be taken to ensure that your layout flows well with the song. This part is an example of you doing this well. Try to do the same everywhere else. The decoration so far looks pretty good. Of course, it would look better if it had a theme. So those are our thoughts on Abyss of Darkness 2 by Axon. Big thanks to Wavix for making this video with me. Be sure to check out his channel as the content he makes is pretty similar to mine. Consider leaving a like and subscribing for more commentary videos like this, and let us know in the comments what you think of AOD2. Thanks for watching.